So today we have a bit of a different video. This will be an agate cutting video with some material known as Botswali agates, which is sounds very similar to Botswana agates, but they're not Botswana agates. They're agates from Malawi that have Botswana agate-like looks, and so they're called Botswalis. I will disclose I got this material from Joshua Ritter over at Agate Bay. This is an advertisement, I would say, of his new company. So this material came from his company Agate Bay LLC, which is they're going to have a new website release soon. I'll put a link in the description below. By the time this video is out, it should be live, so you guys can check out that website page. I will say I've been told that I need to tell you guys that this material is a premium example of what you would maybe expect to get from this Botswali agate material, but it is not the average example of what you would expect if you were to buy this material directly from Agate Bay. They sent me over some premium examples to just show you what the premium material looks like. So with those disclosures out of the way, let's get to cutting some of these. Now some of these are going to be quite simple when it comes to the way we cut them, just due to fractures and stuff. I believe this one I have to cut closer to this side, and I want to do that anyways because I like the window on this side anyways. With cutting agates, you always want to avoid cutting through windows, but windows can also give you a good idea of what to expect. In this case, I like this window a lot more than this window. And there's also, I forget exactly where, but there is a little bit of a fracture running through on this side, so I want to avoid that fracture. You know, because natural fractures will kind of break up the look of the specimen, and you want to avoid that. With this specimen, I don't really have a choice but to cut it straight through the middle, through a thin section, basically just along here and through here to the back. So the windows show a lot of promise, and there are some little bits of fractures, but nothing super big. And hopefully it's all superficial. So I'm looking forward to cutting this one. Now this big one is interesting because it actually has these two pockets here, and I can tell that these pockets have calcite in them just because of the type of erosion. Let's see if we can get a closer look. So the type of erosion or etching that you would see on calcite is present on this mineral that's in these pockets. Now I can also see that there's a bit of quartz here, so this one's going to be an interesting choice, but I think my best option is to cut through here and try and avoid these open pockets as much as possible. I think there's a fracture somewhere around this edge, so I want to avoid this area. I want to avoid the quartz as much as possible. So we'll have to see. Maybe I'll go along this way, but then I run into, I think there's a fracture running here. So with agate cutting, you always have to kind of play a game of where are the fractures, and how do I avoid them. So we'll see how this one cuts. I think the best option is just to cut through here or like here. We'll have to see, but hopefully the cuts go well, and I will show you guys the material after it's cut. So now that this stuff is cut up, I can tell you the fractures that I were worried about, not an issue at all. All of them seem to be like surface level, and I did not seem to have any issues with the fractures when I was cutting. So I'm quite happy about that, and these turned out quite nicely. as you can see, they're quite nice. There was a little bit of blowout there. I had a little bit of a blowout on this one, but still super spectacular. And you can see, I'll grab a couple examples of some Botswanas that I have in my collection just to show you guys, just to compare. But you can see why these guys have the name Botswali. Now, these aren't the greatest representation because I don't have too many Botswanas, or I don't have really any Botswanas with this really prominent white banding. But you can see there are some close similarities in kind of style and pattern. So you can see why when you compare these Botswali agates to the Botswana agates, why they got their name. Now for the big skinny one that I really only had one option to cut from. I kind of did butcher a little bit here as I was trying to cut because there were some little weird knobbies that kind of deflected it a little bit. But overall, this piece turned out to be spectacular as well. Like, look at those bands. Just lovely, lovely fortifications with a nice combos of grays and blues and whites. And this side also is kind of nice. Ignore this. This is a bit of smearing from my saw. I don't know how to fix that. I've noticed that on some of my pieces, sometimes it smears a bit and then it has to get polished off. But these pieces turned out fantastic, and I bet they'll polish pretty nicely. So for this one, if you've noticed, I have the videos of me cutting sped up before I show you these. And this one, if you noticed, if you were paying any attention, the sped up video for this one was real quick, which means that this either has a quartz pocket in it, calcite, or it's a geode. Take your bets right now. We've got quartz here, visible quartz here. We've got visible calcite here. We got visible calcite here. Bets are closed. Turns out it was an amethyst geode. A really cool one. You can actually see, so this is a bit of leftover calcite here. And you can see here, this, I believe, just texture-wise and softness-wise, let's just did a little quick test. This is also a calcite crystal, and you can see the rough shape. And it's filled in with this nice light, almost pinky on the edges. You can see it's almost pinky on the edge. Amethyst. And we can check this side, and it goes for a decent amount. It goes like, let's see, it goes to my first knuckle. So it goes all the way to here, which makes sense. We've got this calcite pocket here. So I'm quite happy with this surprise. Like, I was not expecting this. Oh, wow. So this was really cool. I was a little, when it cut so quickly, I was a little almost ready to be disappointed. Because I was like, it's all going to be just like a quartz in the middle of a little, like some light bands of agate. But this turned out so much better than expected. Just lovely, like light pinky purple amethyst. This is definitely going to get some special treatment. I'm going to have to see how I'm going to deal with this. What I might do, so to get the pockets cleaned out and the leftover calcite in the pockets etched out, what I could do is do super glue over the pre-existing calcite here, because I want to keep that, though I don't know how well that'll polish, so we'll see. But we'll probably glue these over to kind of protect them from getting etched, and then we'll etch out whatever last cruddy bits of leftover calcite are on the inside of these pockets. And it looks like there might be a little bit of iron staining, or it might just be mud. We'll have to try and clean out these pockets If I have to use some iron out, I'll use some iron out to get rid of the iron staining. But I am quite happy with these specimens. They all turned out really nicely, and I'm quite happy that I got the chance to cut these. Now, as I reiterated before, these are premium examples. I've been told these are premium examples, so they don't represent the average material that you would expect to get if you were to buy it from Agate Bay. Like I said before, there's a new website for the Agate Bay LLC company below. Special thanks to Joshua Ritter, the owner of Agate Bay, for setting up this program for us content creators to cut this amazing material. I think he's a really cool guy. He cuts really awesome agates, and also his work in Botswali I quite respect. If you haven't already, I'll put a link below to actually his Botswali trip video, which was a really interesting video. He has actual business set up in Botswali to support the local communities, which I super appreciate as someone. For those who don't know, when I was younger, I grew up in a third world country. Because of my dad's work, he did community aid and development. So whenever I see someone doing similar type of stuff in, third world or 2.5 world countries where they're still developing and these communities might need a little extra help, I really appreciate that, and I love to support that. So I'm happy to cut these premium agates and show them off to you, and talk about Joshua's new website and new company. This brings us to the end of the video. I want to thank you guys for joining me on this agate cutting video. If you like this type of stuff and you haven't already, please do like and subscribe. I do lapidary videos, but then I also do a lot of rock hounding and fossil collecting videos. So if those are your cups of tea, please do consider dropping a subscription. Please also, in the comments below, folks, let me know which of these you found the most interesting. I'm going to bet a lot of people are going to pick the amethyst geode. I know I would, but all of this agate material here is super superb. I didn't really have any issues cutting it. The fractures that I was a little worried about turned out to be nothing burgers, little surface fractures, and the banding in the agate was really awesome. And then of course this amethyst geode was a nice pleasant surprise at the end. But thank you folks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.